Mike Tyson secured his place in the golden pages of boxing history by being, from a young age, an unstoppable knockout machine. But did you know there was a fighter who left him trying to gather the last of his warrior spirit after a thunderous fall scattered him across the ring? Welcome. In today's video, I bring you a bitter pill in Iron Mike's professional career. I invite you to relive with me the night James "Buster" Douglas knocked him out in seconds. Did you think it was impossible? Keep watching. It was 1990, and Mike Tyson had to give his best if he wanted to start a new decade of success on the right foot. James "Buster" Douglas was not necessarily an unknown name in the discipline, but that seemed not to credit him with enough power to be a true rival against a fighter of Tyson's caliber. 4 days before the match, the New York Times claimed that the only person capable of beating Tyson was himself by deciding not to enter the ring. The rumor that Iron Mike was not surrounding himself with the most experienced cornerman was controversial, but he was still expected to quickly defeat Buster Douglas. Reports from his training in Tokyo questioned whether the youngest heavyweight champion in history had begun to sabotage his own success. 2.5 weeks before the fight, while sparring with Greg Page, it was recorded that Tyson had been knocked down by a right hand. Other reports described him as slow, a problem he needed to solve in record time if he really wanted to maintain his titles. On the night of February 11th, Tyson stepped into the ring at the Tokyo Dome in Japan, responding to the challenge posed by James "Buster" Douglas. It was his 7th defense of the International Boxing Federation heavyweight title, the 9th of the World Boxing Association heavyweight title, and the 10th of the World Boxing Council heavyweight title. In the opposite corner, Douglas ranked number 2 by the IBF, number 3 by the WBC, and number 4 by the WBA. A crowd of over 40,000 people was estimated in the Dome, ready to witness a true explosion in the ring. With Octavio Meyran as the third man in the ring, the fighters came out of their corners. First round. From the start, Tyson's invincible aura invaded the ring. With movements, Douglas closed the window of opportunities for the champion to land his punches while taking care of delivering his own.
Keep in mind that Carl Williams looked pretty loose and relaxed against Tyson until...
Both fighters skipped the expected feeling-out round and went straight to battle. It wasn't the first time Mike faced a giant, but it was one of the few times he seemed to have made no progress in the work for his victory during the first round.
See, Mike has to be careful also because Mike...
Second round. A clinch opened the second round. Then, Douglas's offensive rose. Given his height, it was easy for him to target Tyson's upper body, and for the first time, Tyson was seen actively seeking the clinch to minimize his opponent's attacks. In any other scenario, one would expect to see Tyson working his victory with body shots, but the champion seemed disoriented by his challenger's solid stance.
Very hard right hand by Douglas inside.
Another right hand lead lands for Douglas.
Douglas not afraid.
Third round. Tyson opened the third round by charging at Douglas until he cornered him. But what could have been a dangerous situation was easily dispersed. Mike was looking for Douglas's body, but he couldn't find it. His counterattack stopped any momentum Tyson had to engage. The clinch had become Mikey's best ally. Receiving heavy blows, he had a big barrier to overcome.
Be smart, work your way in. Another good right, but Tyson put you in a lot of trouble.
Douglas accurate with the...
Fourth round. Douglas's left kept Tyson at bay during the early stages of the fourth round. Even without knowing how to penetrate his guard, Mike could be seen evaluating his imposing challenger to effectively enter. His strategy of trapping him against the ropes still yielded no results. Tyson couldn't push Douglas back more than 2 steps per attack attempt, and starting an exchange in the center of the ring didn't seem like an option. Every now and then, Douglas landed a good hand on the champion's face. Without receiving equivalent attacks, everything seemed to indicate that reports about Mike's training anticipated the outcome of the match.
Brunia's trainer has made any difference?
I don't really believe that.
As you did.
Yes. Good enough hook by
Douglas
Douglas.
again with a...
Fifth round. Tyson continued to seek the clinch to buy time, but Douglas wasn't interested in selling him an escape route. His right hand was his best punishment tool against Mike, and he often executed a good blow to his face.
Out switch Tyson turned things around against Frank Bruno. Right hand by Douglas lands.
He throws his combination, then he ties him up.
Any other fighter would have already succumbed to Douglas's power, but it was Mike Tyson he was facing. Even after experiencing these first episodes, much of the audience expected a surprising plot twist that favored the champion. 6th round. Tyson continued to struggle to decipher how to penetrate Douglas's guard for the 6th round. He managed to reduce the aggressiveness of his offense by resorting to the clinch every now and then, but it wasn't the stance he needed to win. Even when Douglas wasn't intending to attack him, Tyson lunged at his body. Mike played a role he knew very well, because his powerful punches had forced many fighters to interpret it for him in the past. With caution and some fear, Tyson began to fight just to survive another round.
Giving Tyson a chance to use those amazing
7th round. Half of the scheduled rounds had already passed, and Douglas was in control of the fight's pace. With spirit, he jumped, inviting Tyson to exchange a couple of blows. But the champion didn't seem interested. His movements were cautious and disappointing to see. They created the illusion that a powerful monarch was coming to the end of his reign. 8th round. Tyson continued to rely on the clinch, but he didn't always manage to escape from Douglas's right hand, which, with his left, kept him at a distance to attack him. A brief flurry of punches was thrown at Tyson while he tried to hold onto his challenger's body to try to calm him down. And, out of nowhere, a stroke of luck appeared, the long-awaited plot twist. A right uppercut sent Douglas to the canvas.
He's always been the initiator. Here he's against the ropes. I've never seen.
And there's
A solid and effective counterattack seemed to have stopped the aggressive challenger, who now received Mehran's count, trying to get back up. Ending Tyson's hopes, Douglas stood up for the count of 9. Just as the fight resumed, the sound of the bell relieved tensions by sending the fighters to their corners, but it left the rest biting their nails for whatever was about to happen. 9th round. Achieving his first knockdown gave Tyson the confidence to finally attack Douglas. With a powerful flurry of punches, Douglas quickly neutralized Tyson's offense, who had to resort to the clinch again. With a knockdown, Douglas knew he had to permanently stop Mike if he didn't want the judge's decision to favor him at the end of the few remaining rounds. Therefore, he cornered Tyson against the ropes and activated massacre mode. While Tyson continued to seek the clinch, he was a victim of one of the hardest rain of punches in his entire professional career. Trying to get out of harm's way, Douglas pushed him back against the ropes. With Mehran putting some distance between them, the youngest heavyweight champion in history was on the verge of falling. Douglas's right hand remained a solid punishment tool. Perhaps for the first time in his professional career, Tyson knew what the expression "saved by the bell" meant.
was on the verge of going down. The most action-filled
10th round. Tyson opened the 10th round with a good right hand to Douglas's body, but immediately he was put against his corner. Douglas, strategically, pushed Tyson to corner him and finish what he started at the end of the previous round. When the champion opened his guard, Douglas tested his reflexes by stretching his left hand to realize something that perhaps not even Mehran noticed. Mike wasn't responding. Therefore, a lethal combination to the face was the reason for Iron Mike's spectacular fall to the canvas.
Oh, the uppercut.
What an uppercut by Douglas, and down goes Tyson.
During the safety count, Tyson seemed to search for the last of his strength to get up. When Mehran reached 10, it was all over. The great Mike Tyson had been knocked out. Douglas dedicated this victory to his mother, who suffered a stroke and died on January 28th, 90 days before the match. And the legendary magazine The Ring hailed his victory as the upset of the year. If you've made it this far, I thank you. Did you like the story? Remember, there's no better way to support my content than by leaving a like on the video. Do you think Tyson's defeat against Douglas was foreseen from his training sessions? Did the then champion really sabotage his success? Let me know what you think in the comments.